This is unreal.
The weather, an uncontrollable force, giving us life and taking it away. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Guys, we've got cars floating again.
More terrifying.
Avalanche!
And even more catastrophic.
If you're the praying type, please just pray for us, because this is really scary.
With incredible self-shot footage.
I thought Titanic came into my head.
From the front line of fear.
The biggest challenge we have is going against Mother Nature.
It's an extremely challenging environment.
We witness firsthand
what I was feeling was burning from inside out.
the wrath of Mother Nature.
I was saying everything's going to be okay, even though in my head I knew that was a lie.
I'm getting out of here.
It's like your brain doesn't understand what you're seeing.
From twisted tales of terror.
I don't want to die in my store.
Death was right around the corner.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
It's an earthquake!
You're dicing with danger. If you're in their way, you die.
And stories of sheer destruction.
Oh my God!
It's all gone.
It looks like World War II.
We meet the people who've stared death in the face.
We're not going to get out of this alive.
And survived the full force of the world's deadliest weather.
Really kicking our ass.
Coming up in this episode. Hurricane Sandy whips up lethal waves in the Atlantic.
I had swallowed so much water, I was just drowning.
And unleashes hell on America's East Coast.
Oh my God!
I'm running, you know? I'm running with fear.
Cavers in California get caught out by flash floods.
One of these parts like collapses or something, what are we gonna do?
You're literally holding your life in your hand.
Here we go! Woo-hoo!
And wild winds cause a catastrophic crash for a couple in Canada.
Something is a little bit not right here. And then all of a sudden it was just smack into a tree.
October 2012, and a tropical storm has formed over the Caribbean Sea. Spurred on by warm waters, the storm strengthens into a powerful hurricane named Sandy. Directly in the line of fire, Cuba. Enjoying the island's sights and sounds is tourist Andy Budd.
The complex that I was staying at was the southeast of the island. I was less than 50 metres away from the beach. I was hoping to get good weather because I do like the sun.
But the storm is intensifying into a strong Category 2 hurricane as it approaches the coast of Cuba, meaning that it now poses a serious risk to life.
I went for a little walk out on the jetty, and by then was something happening, something building.
Hurricane coming in, which is supposed to hit tonight. So it's just beginning to get a bit blowy now.
When I returned to my room, there was a letter saying that Hurricane Sandy was coming.
Andy is sheltering in his room when he receives emergency instructions from the hotel's front desk on how to stay safe.
We should all keep away from the windows, etc., and to get ourselves in the bathroom for the next 4 or 5 hours. There's the bed and the pillow.
Hurricane Sandy bears down on Cuba, unleashing terrifying 110-mile-per-hour winds.
doors are blown open. We've got no power at all.
The winds were so strong. I believe if I'd have stepped outside onto the balcony, I would not have been seen alive again.
I'm not going anywhere, no stores.
I was frightened for my life.
I don't really know what to do. I don't think I can phone anyone at all.
I felt alone.
Andy weathers the storm. And the next morning, after wreaking chaos on Cuba, Hurricane Sandy begins to barrel across the Atlantic Ocean and is now 900 miles wide. Unwittingly sailing towards the hurricane is HMS Bounty, a replica of an 18th century toll ship. On board is Joshua Skornavaki, who is working as a deckhand.
Skies were pretty fair, the winds were fine, the seas were fine, and there wasn't any warning as far as looking around on the horizon that there was a big storm system.
Suddenly, Hurricane Sandy blasts the ship with ferocious winds and waves.
Progressively, the storm continued to get worse, so the swells and the winds picked up quite a bit. We were taking on water on our starboard side. The ship was rolling progressively farther and farther with each wave, and sometimes the ship would roll so far that your feet would leave the deck, so it was almost like the ship was rolling up 90 degrees and you were just hanging on. I really started to get pretty frightened.
Finding themselves in deadly peril, the crew of HMS Bounty make a desperate SOS call. Responding to the emergency is United States Coast Guard pilot Steve Cervani and rescue swimmer Randy Haba.
We got a call that there was this HMS Bounty tall ship that was 150 miles offshore. We're taking on water.
The rescue helicopter is scrambled. But the crisis is worsening aboard HMS Bounty.
There's just so much wind and so much water in the wind, and then this just massive wave came and the whole ship went over.
The crew is scattered in the treacherous ocean, fighting for survival.
I just kept trying to swim. I had swallowed so much water, I was just drowning.
Joshua summons all of his strength to swim to a life raft with his shipmates. But one sailor is left at the mercy of the ocean.
It was windy, the seas were big.
The US Coast Guard have made it to the sinking ship, and rescuer Randy is winched down to pluck the lone swimmer from the sea.
We have the load. We go down and just grab him, cinch him up, and go back up real quick.
But it's now a race against time to rescue the rest of the crew before their life raft succumbs to Sandy's gigantic gusts.
It was definitely life or death at the time out there because it was huge seas, you know. There's 30-footers at least, sometimes bigger.
Every once in a while, a huge wave would hit and taco the raft and just fold it in half. It sounded like a gunshot. I told everybody to hold hands, and we prayed.
Later, we see how Sandy's deadly storm surge leaves those on the east coast of the USA in mortal danger.
Like, this is getting really bad. I have to get home. I was pretty scared.
The waters are raging through.
We got very frightened at that point.
Edmonton, Canada. Jeff Carter and his partner Melissa have been looking forward to their hot air balloon adventure for quite some time.
My original intention for the hot air balloon ride was to propose to Melissa.
We've tried probably maybe around 7 times, but the trip got canceled quite a lot due to the weather.
So the hot air balloon ended up being almost our anniversary. You have plans and Mother Nature doesn't agree with your plans, so it gets a bit annoying.
Hot air balloons are completely at the mercy of the weather, and with no real way to steer, they can be a precarious mode of transport.
The only thing you have is a bag of hot air that you can fill with more hot air to go up or release some hot air to go down. But other than that, you're completely dependent on the wind. But that particular day was very calm, so it seemed.
There she goes.
The whole process starts with them inflating the balloon on the ground.
There she tips.
And once it finally flipped upright, they got everyone to quickly climb into the basket to be the weight so it doesn't take off prematurely.
So this is our balloon family.
Hello, balloon family.
And we popped up like a cork, straight up into the air. It was pretty exciting, and one thing I never realized about hot air balloons is just how hot they are. The top of your head felt like it was going to catch fire.
When you wait so long to do something, you're like, hey, it's finally happening.
There we go! Woo-hoo!
We almost, in the beginning, almost hit a tree there. You're like, wow, this is really fast. Do we really know where we're going, or is this a good day?
Bye, see you tomorrow!
Being up in a hot air balloon is a lot different than being in a plane where you feel secure and you have walls.
We are flying.
But as soon as we were clear of that tree, that was the tallest thing around us, and we could start to see the view, and it was pretty amazing.
Jeff and Melissa may have had to wait a year, but the romantic trip is everything they had dreamt of.
I never expected to ever go on a hot air balloon, but you always see them, and they just seem kind of...
magical.
Yeah, like a magical thing.
You want to be in the video?
We were able to see the city from a perspective that you normally don't get to see. The winds were picking up. Being that high, we were going quite fast now.
So we're in the world's fastest balloon today. Cruising along at 40 kilometers an hour.
But as the balloon gathers speed, Jeff begins to suspect something might be wrong.
The pilot seemed a little bit uneasy during most of the flight. He told us kind of that we were going faster than normal. You don't really feel the wind when you're in the air because you're moving with it.
There's downtown.
It's still fast for us to stop for breakfast, but yeah.
The balloon just kept going down. There was a downdraft. And apparently that downdraft is basically what is the wind pushing not horizontally but vertically. Within a few minutes of starting to go down, he had the burners on again. And then he said, okay, everyone, time to get prepared for landing. We're gonna be landing in that field over there. The pilot was already on the burners and trying to get some more heat into the balloon and some more altitude.
Just the way that our pilot was, he was so calm that I didn't think anything was wrong.
In the moment, I didn't realize how hard the pilot was trying to prevent the balloon from coming down. When I could see the trees getting closer, and I almost couldn't believe it. Trees are dangerous. If you hit a tree in a car, it totals the car. And we're in something much more fragile than a car. We're in a wicker basket. That was probably the moment I was most afraid.
Mother Nature is rarely consistent, and the wind is no exception. These two men are trying to fly their kite on a windy day. However, as the wind picks up, a sudden gust proves too much for just one of them to handle. Lifting him in the air, and then giving him a bumpy landing. In Australia, a paraglider has an unfortunate encounter with a dust devil. Dust devils are created by hot and cool air colliding, much like changes in wind speed. It may have got him in a spin, but the paraglider eventually gets his own back on Mother Nature by going on to complete an 8-hour cross-country flight. High wind speeds can even affect objects as heavy as this semi-trailer truck in Kansas. Thankfully, the driver survived with a humbling reminder of the power of the elements. Back in Edmonton, Jeff and Melissa's romantic hot air balloon ride is turning into a nightmare as the wind sends the balloon hurtling towards some trees.
Okay, something is a little bit not right here. And then all of a sudden it was just smack into a tree.
The impact with the tree was almost in slow motion. First thing I did was put my arm around Melissa to make sure that she didn't pop out of the basket. And when we hit the tree, it was a solid hit. It felt like all the air left your lungs. Right where I was holding on to the basket, right between my ribs and the edge of the basket I was on, I felt the tree protrude through. And you can only hear the sound of breaking branches, and it's like, is that just breaking branches, or is there, bones getting broken? The tree had gone through the basket. Did it go into someone? Like, it had just missed me. Did it hit Melissa?
Slow down! Hold on. Nope. Hold on.
The basket smashes through the trees, and momentum carries it straight towards the ground.
Everyone okay?
And it's like traveling, the speed of a car. That's gonna hurt. So there was definitely fear as we were coming down that I wanted that thing on the ground as soon as possible.
Everybody okay? Yeah. No, everybody okay? You sure? Yeah. Go down, guys. Go down, because he's gonna be a drag landing.
And when we hit the ground, I thought that was it. I thought we were on the ground now. The balloon's not gonna go up anymore. Trip's over. There's the ground.
Hold on. Here goes.
There goes.
Race. Okay. Collapse that balloon.
I was quite disappointed when we were floating again.
Hold on.
We were like a bouncing ball.
Come on, balloon, collapse.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're okay.
Once we were on the ground and once we weren't moving anymore, there was a lot of relief that was released and a lot of adrenaline that was still pumping through us.
Yeah.
We made it!
No injuries.
No one got hurt. Maybe a couple bruises, but that was the worst of it.
Yeah. I felt lucky to be alive.
They may have survived their weather-thwarted romantic trip, but Mother Nature definitely had the last laugh.
Being in the air suspended only on hot air and a piece of fabric, essentially, there is big risks, probably larger than I originally thought. The weather can change quickly. What seemed like a very calm day down where we were taking off, almost the moment we left the ground, changed.
Still to come. It's a desperate fight for survival for the crew of the HMS Bounty.
Once we were in the raft, we knew that we weren't safe yet.
As the Coast Guard goes head-to-head with Hurricane Sandy.
There's 50-knot winds, there's waves crashing. We don't see anything, we don't see anybody.
And in Austria, residents narrowly escape a lethal landslide.
I opened the bedroom door, I looked straight ahead, and the front door of the apartment was not there anymore.
The house
is being taken away.
Rocky Peak Park, California. With its interesting rock formations and breathtaking vistas, it's a popular hiking spot and a favorite for experienced cavers Willie Price and Jesse St. Louis.
We clicked like the first hike we went on. If it's crazy and fun, I know Willie's gonna be down for it.
In Southern California, we don't really get much bad weather, so like I have a checklist in my mind, like, okay, if it rains, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna do this. We wanna push the limits a little bit, but not, not be stupid.
In February 2019, when winter storms triggered flash floods all over Southern California, Jesse and Willie saw an opportunity to mix deadly weather with adventure.
It had been the most rain we'd had that winter up until that point. And so because of all the flooding that was going on, I was just resigning myself to staying in. And then he mentioned this cave, and I was like, okay, well, that sounds interesting.
When it started raining, I was like, hey, we could go out to Rocky Peak and hit that tunnel cave, and that would be perfect because there was like so much rain, there's gonna be a lot of water there, and I knew Jesse would love it.
California is experiencing one of the wettest winters on record, and Jesse and Willie are all too aware of the added dangers.
Obviously, floods are a big thing you want to keep an eye out for, especially in slot canyons, end caves.
But when they arrive at the cave, they're in for a shock.
Whoa, that is crazy! But we got there, and I was like, oh my God, and I was scared, but at the same time super excited, like, oh, it was way more water than I was expecting.
My first impression was, maybe we shouldn't do this because there's like so much water in there. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this much water. Seriously, I was just picturing myself, I'll put my foot down, I'm just gonna like fly down the river, you know? Then Jesse, he's like, well, wait, let's check it out.
Let's just see, like one step at a time. But if he still said, no, I don't want to do it, then we would have bailed.
Despite the risks, Jesse and Willie decide to venture in.
Once you start doing it, it's actually super fun. Danger makes it even more fun.
You're literally holding your life in your hand.
But more danger doesn't always mean more fun, because messing with Mother Nature means walking on very thin ice. Like this man crossing a frozen canal, who learns his lesson the hard way.
You all right, mate? Luke, swim back here.
His friends watch on as he tries to claw his way to safety.
You got Luke!
Eventually, he makes it out, with a cold, hard reminder not to dice with ice. In India, heavy rains have flooded a drain, making crossing this road highly dangerous. Unfortunately, that doesn't deter this motorcyclist. And as onlookers rush to his aid, they manage to save him and his bike from being swept away. Maybe next time, he'll think twice about driving into danger. In the Bahamas,
it's stupid to do that.
Climbing the rocks around this bridge when waves of up to 40 feet are crashing down is risky business.
Oh, there's another one!
He's gone.
Where is he?
He's over the edge.
No.
Despite being hurled onto the rocks below, the man survives and is later helped to hospital where he is treated for deep cuts and a broken arm. Back in Rocky Peak Park in California, cavers Willie and Jesse are continuing their adventure in a flooded cave.
You have to be holding on to things because it's super slippery inside the cave. There's pockets of deep water, you don't even know how deep it is, and they're narrow, so there's a possibility of getting stuck in there.
I had tried climbing some sandstone, and it was like disintegrating under my feet. And so that's why they say, you know, never climb on sandstone in the rain or when it's been raining, because it just dissolves.
Most dangerous things about that would be part of the cave collapsing. In the wrong situation, you know, it would have been, you know, death.
Being swept up in the adventure, they soon forget about danger and become awestruck at the sheer power of the flood.
This is awesome! We're in a raging river in this awesome cave!
The sound fills your whole head, your whole ears. It's like amazing.
It's like the ocean, but the echo of the water in the cave is just like, it's totally immersive.
But excitement turns into a fight for survival as the water suddenly becomes deeper and more powerful.
The first deep section I encountered was kind of a mental turning point. I got a little too caught up with it, and the first time I encountered that deep water, it caught me off guard. Some spots were almost like waist deep. At that point, I realized, okay, I gotta pay way more attention. I was keeping an eye behind us, like, okay, what's the escape plan in case we need to go back up? But the further down the cave we went, the more difficult it would be to go back.
About halfway through the cave, I was thinking, oh, you know what, this is really not the smartest thing. And I was like, damn, if one of these parts like collapses or something, what are we gonna do?
I mean, it was life or death for us.
I was thinking, we should probably just get out of here as quick as we can. There's parts where you just have to climb through. It's like, how am I gonna put my hand here? How am I gonna get this part? And I mean, I'll just like grab myself and just like, you know, pull myself up, because with life and death, you do stuff like that. I kind of like lost my mind a little bit as far as I was going too far ahead, and I was like, oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? And then I was like, oh, where's Jesse? He went a different way than I went.
You have to do what works best for your body. And so, because he could go through some of the more narrow spots, I had to figure out a way to do something different. And because it was so loud in the cave, it was hard to stay in contact. I could step in that deep section and break my ankle or fall head first and get wedged in a position where my head's trapped underwater, and he may have made it another 50 feet before he noticed.
At the end of the cave, there's a small space which you have to crawl out. I was worried, okay, are we gonna be able to get through this?
Willie squeezes through. But it's not so easy for Jesse's 6 foot 2 inch frame.
I don't know how you got out, man, because it's pretty small.
How deep is this? Hell yeah, Willie. Keep it up. Hell yeah!
At the end of it, I was so pumped. It felt good that we were out safely, but yeah, we could have died.
And the journey home was a sobering reminder of how lucky they'd been.
We were driving down the freeway and we saw all these floods and...
Oh, we saw like rock slide, we saw a mudslide on the highway, landslide on the highway, like in like the middle of like North Hollywood. I've never seen anything like that. And we're like, wow, I guess it rained a lot today, huh?
Earlier, we saw Hurricane Sandy batter Cuba with 110-mile-per-hour winds. As it barrels across the Atlantic Ocean, Sandy generates 15-foot waves, capsizing HMS Bounty. Deckhand Joshua and his crewmates fight their way to a life raft.
Once we were in the raft, we knew that we weren't safe yet.
Their only hope for survival is the US Coast Guard. As swimmer Randy prepares to winch down, pilot Steve struggles to maintain position in the treacherous conditions.
There's 50-knot winds, there's waves crashing. This raft is covered. We don't see anything, we don't see anybody. So we're wondering if there's survivors in there.
Stars in the water.
Randy battles colossal waves to approach the life raft.
For survivors coming out of the raft.
Poked my head in the raft and nobody said anything. Everybody had huge eyes, you know, they shocked that anybody was out there, you know, ready to get them. So finally I just grabbed the closest guy to me and said, it's time to go.
Survivors in the water with Dan.
Roger, I'm still...
Here comes a big wave.
Roger, we'll wait.
We stuck him in a basket, a rescue basket, and then hoisted him.
Randy grabs survivors and winches them to safety one by one, with Josh next in line.
When I got lifted up in that helicopter in the basket, and the wind grabbed a hold of the basket and actually started spinning.
Yeah, this one's swinging really bad.
I just saw myself going farther and farther and farther away from the seas and the the chaos that was down there.
Bring it back.
Imagine being in a giant storm and angels descending through the clouds and just have this joy, knowing that you were saved.
Voice complete. Y'all cool if I shut the door?
You may.
Hurricane Sandy continues its journey of destruction, ready to pounce on its next victim, New York City.
This is a statement from the National Weather Service. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop.
Student Brian Adam Kivich is ignoring mandatory evacuation warnings on Long Island.
At the time, I was kind of excited about the storm. Me and my friends didn't take it very seriously. We kind of just, we just went out to go see if it was true. We didn't believe the weather guys. We never do. So we go down to Oceanside where the boats are, and we go down to Long Beach to see, because it's right on the water. And it looked like a typical thunderstorm.
Meanwhile, Jean and Maria Warnecki are in New York waiting for a connecting flight home to Costa Rica.
We found out there was a hurricane on the way, and our flight was the last flight in. They had closed the airport right after we landed. So we realized that we were stuck in New York.
They find a motel, but are now vulnerable to Hurricane Sandy's deadliest weapon yet, a storm surge.
We were very, very scared. And then when we discovered that we were at a hotel on Jamaica Bay with the canal right in front of our bedroom window, we kind of freaked. We went, oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Hurricane Sandy makes landfall, pummeling New York with 85-mile-per-hour winds.
Oh my God!
Causing catastrophic destruction.
Oh my God!
I hit my car!
Oh, the car!
Its arrival disastrously coincides with a full moon, meaning the tide is at its highest.
My friend's like, yo, you gotta walk from the end of your block. I can't drive down it. So I get out, and the water's up to my ankles, like on the highest part of the ground. I'm just kind of like, this is getting really bad. I have to get home. Maybe we should have evacuated, That was a reality hitting moment right there where I was pretty scared. I'm running, I'm running with fear.
The hurricane forces huge waves ashore, leading to a terrifying storm surge. And a menacing flood begins to rise outside of Jean and Maria's motel room window.
Here's our parking lot. It's now part of the canal.
I didn't know whether or not we could survive because the water was rising very, very quickly. I mean, we're like sitting ducks, really.
We're sandbagged, the back door here.
We were in the corridor and I looked down and waters are raging through and they're trying to go through the double doors. And as the people were on the bottom floors, they were making their way up to the second floor. It was pretty scary.
The water was shooting through the little holes in the bottom of the door. I was quite concerned that our hotel would not withstand the pressure of the water, of the surge. We got very frightened at that point.
Across town, Brian is also battling Sandy's lethal storm surge.
It looked like a raging rapid of black water in my street, knocking garbage cans and debris into my house. It sounded like someone was knocking on my door all night. It was very, very traumatic experience, not knowing how far the water was gonna come up.
The nightmare continues for Jean and Maria as floodwaters gush into their motel, trapping them in their room.
We were waiting for, bodies to float by. That's where our minds were at that point.
I don't think you'll ever get over that kind of a fear of not knowing if you're going to live or die. That was my hardest part.
By morning, the storm surge recedes, but as they escape their hotel, the full extent of the destruction begins to dawn on Jean and Maria.
There was debris all over the street.
There was so much mud everywhere. We thanked our lucky stars that we were still alive.
Hurricane Sandy also devastated Brian's hometown of Long Island.
Every memory I've ever made as a kid is pretty much gone because the storm wiped out the town.
Sandy affected 24 US states. It destroyed over 600,000 homes and caused an estimated $71 billion in damage. HMS Bounty sunk beneath the ocean. The Coast Guard rescued 14 people, but tragically, the captain and one crew member could not be saved.
Swimming a hurricane like that was the first time I've ever done a hurricane, actually.
It'll definitely stick with me for a long time.
You realize that Mother Nature is powerful and it will teach you a lesson.
I for sure will take mandatory warnings a lot more serious. You know, you can replace a house and a car, but you can't replace a life.
I have a newfound respect for life after this hurricane.
Sometimes nature has no mercy.
The weather governs our world and is responsible for many natural disasters, such as landslides, which can cause catastrophic destruction. Landslides can be triggered by rainfall, snowfall, or changes in water level, and most recorded fatalities occur in Asia. In Kashmir, a landslide sends a vast section of mountainside plummeting into the river below, completely reshaping the landscape. In Beijing, a huge landslide blocks a hillside road. Amazingly, one man recognized the warning signs and stopped 15 vehicles from going forward, saving them from potentially fatal consequences. Also in China, in the Fujian province, this CCTV footage shows how landslides have the power to push everything out of their way. Proving they're a destructive force for anything in their path. As the town of Hattau, Austria, knows all too well. It's June 2013, and ski instructor Phil Durrant is living and working in the area.
I was out there just to get away from the hustle and bustle of day-to-day life in the UK. I was living with Jess, my girlfriend at the time. We actually met each other in Austria, and we both shared a passion for skiing and winter sports.
Relentless rainfall led to historic flooding all across Central Europe and became the costliest natural catastrophe that year. Austria, in particular, received 2 months of rain in just 24 hours.
It started raining and it just didn't seem to stop. And I can remember that it was just such a strong thunderstorm that was going on. So much thunder, so much lightning. I can remember talking to Jess and saying, oh my God, I've never seen so much rain like this. There was a small river which was just outside of our apartment at the time, and this was really, really full.
The next morning, the couple are rudely awakened in their top floor apartment.
Jess and I were asleep in bed. There was a huge crash. I felt like the whole house was shaking. I thought it was an earthquake. I opened the bedroom door, I looked straight ahead, and the front door of the apartment was not there anymore. it was gone.
Basically, we're in Austria in the house, and the house has been...
We have no house.
So I kind of rubbed my eyes, and all I could see was a torrent of water rushing down the mountain. Looked like it was surging underneath the house.
The lethal result of the torrential downpour is a landslide, and Phil's directly in its firing line.
I didn't expect thousands, millions of tons of debris were going to be smashed into the front of the house.
Yeah, this is the house.
I've never heard anything like that in my life. It was simply the sound of destruction. Crashing, smashing glass, twisting metal, rocks and boulders being thrown against each other.
That's the garage.
But the whole of the front of the building was completely destroyed. If you looked at the front, it just looked like an open doll's house.
Also positioned at the bottom of the mountain is Daniel Mann's family-owned hotel.
It was so heavy and the strength was such insane that everything just got demolished. The whole village was definitely in a really big shock, and nobody thought that we were safe. We saw that Phil, they were coming from the mountain road down there, and they were like really scared and they were screaming.
Unbelievably, Phil and Jess had only just moved into the apartment on the top floor, having previously lived in the one below.
If we had been in the apartment below, this apartment was completely destroyed by the water and the trees and the rocks. The walls of the apartment underneath were completely knocked down. I struggled to believe that we would have survived if we had been, in fact, underneath. It doesn't get much luckier than that.
Phil may have survived.
That's our tyres has gone.
But his car was completely crushed.
They didn't look like cars anymore, they just looked like crushed tin cans.
Yeah, that's your car, mate.
When the car was pulled out, I didn't recognise it initially. The crane was pulling a mass of twisted metal out from underneath the rubble. It could have been anything, but I noticed that there was some wheels attached to the metal, and that was the only way I was able to tell it was actually a car.
Miraculously, Daniel's family hotel had just waved off a busload of guests before the landslide hit. So the only casualty was the hotel itself.
It was like really bad and sad for me because my parents were saying, we built up so much and we did so much for that, and now like in 5 minutes everything got destroyed. People were really working like 20 hours a day for like a few days straight, and you really could see that the people were just helping together and do their best.
The force of the landslide had carved a huge river out of the landscape and changed it completely forever. I feel various emotions, if I'm honest. I can remember just how emotional Jess was and how so many other people in the town were at the time. Lots of people had lost belongings, property. Thank God they still had their lives.
The speed in which the destruction occurred has left Daniel and Phil with a newfound respect for the weather.
It was a natural disaster for sure, and we got pretty lucky because nobody got hurt.
The power of Mother Nature is, of course, absolutely huge. The destruction that it caused to the house and to the cars and to everything else in such a short space of time, it was quite amazing to see. And it's certainly something that makes you comprehend your place on the planet.
When celebrating life's big events, you can be sure that Mother Nature will want to rain on your parade. Crashing this graduation ceremony in New Jersey, USA, is a massive funnel cloud and what appears to be a tornado forming. Refusing to let the sudden storm sink their celebrations, the students keep calm and carry on, despite the looming threat behind them. But just as the caps are being thrown, a sudden lightning strike sends the students and their families scurrying for cover. Thankfully, despite its fearsome appearance, the funnel cloud did not touch down to develop into a twister, and the party could continue indoors. At this folk festival in New Mexico, the headline act is a brutal windstorm. The main tent is evacuated, but left exposed to the powerful gusts, which eventually rip it from the ground, leaving the disappointed festival goers hoping for a refund. In Alberta, Canada, a softball game is interrupted by an unusual type of pitch invasion. This dust devil, formed by a strong wind vortex, barrels towards the baseball diamond, flinging chairs, blankets, and coolers high into the air. The disruptive devil makes a mad dash for a home run. Before fizzling out, leaving the shocked spectators to clear up its mess. In the USA, an unexpected guest is about to gatecrash this couple's photo shoot.
Ooh! I told you! I got it on camera! You got it? I knew that was gonna happen.
A freak wave has drenched the newlyweds, but they try not to let it dampen their spirits.
Ooh! I told you!
That's definitely one for the wedding album. In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature put her foot down. We've seen how powerless we can be.
Oh my God!
We've seen her tear down, whip up, and laugh in our faces. And next time, there will be more.
This is awesome!
Because deadly weather stops for no one.
This is unreal.
The weather. An uncontrollable force. Giving us life and taking it away. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Guys, we've got cars floating again.
More terrifying.
Avalanche!
And even more catastrophic.
If you're the praying type, please just pray for us, because this is really scary.
With incredible self-shot footage.
I thought Titanic came into my head.
From the front line of fear.
The biggest challenge we have is going against Mother Nature. It's an extremely challenging environment.
We witness firsthand.
What I was feeling was burning from inside out.
The wrath of Mother Nature.
I was saying everything's gonna be okay, even though in my head I knew that was a lie.
I'm getting out of here.
It's like your brain doesn't understand what you're seeing.
From twisted tales of terror.
I don't want to die in my store.
Death was right around the corner.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
It's an earthquake.
You're dicing with danger. If you're in their way, you die.
And stories of sheer destruction.
Oh my God!
It's all gone.
It looks like World War II.
We meet the people who've stared death in the face.
We're not going to get out of this alive.
And survived the full force of the world's deadliest weather.
Really kicking our ass.
Coming up in this episode, terrifying twisters take over Texas,
Tornado right there!
leaving a storm chaser with nowhere to run.
This is the end. I love my family. When you're waiting for your death, time slows down.
In Florida, deadly riptides drag swimmers out to sea,
I thought I was gonna lose my whole family.
prompting a daring rescue mission.
If the very end would have let go, then they would have been swept out as well.
And in Italy, a restaurant owner feels the full force of Mother Nature.
The mass of water was enormous.
Coming face to face with the raw power of Mother Nature can be an exhilarating experience. And someone who knows this thrill better than most is Gabe Cox, founding member of storm chasing team Tornado Trackers.
We are out there to document the wildest weather events we can find. Our passion centers around tornadoes.
Gabe and chase partner Jeff Mangum enjoy sharing every thrill from their hair-raising encounters with deadly twisters.
We want people to smell what it smelled like and see what you saw and experience exactly what you experienced.
It's April 2017, and thunderstorms have spawned a series of tornadoes near the town of Canton in Texas, USA. In avid pursuit are the Tornado Trackers.
It's a massive tornado.
I got a tornado warning on my phone for a storm to our south. This is when Jeff and I began to realize, okay, this is a serious situation now. I have my cell phone out in the rain, and all of a sudden it turns off. And I told Jeff, I said, my phone's dead, so I'm just gonna follow you and we're gonna chase this tornado.
It's a wedge.
I try to take a U-turn. But the right-hand side of my car hit a bunch of mud on the side of the road.
Jeff!
So the shoulder of the road was very soft, and it didn't take much for my car to get yanked into a flooded ditch.
Unaware that Gabe is now trapped in the flooded ditch, Jeff continues the chase. But the tornado outbreak has grown to 7 raging twisters. And Gabe watches in horror as one begins to barrel straight towards him.
There was a moment of disbelief, like, is this really happening? I managed to get the rear tires just to the top of the ditch, and that's when the earth gave way under my car and I slid in even further. That's when things went from frustrated to terrified. Because the last radar image I had seen on my phone was there's a mile-wide tornado coming right for my location, and there's nowhere for me to go. My brain was racing to try to figure out, how can I survive this? Well, I am stuck in the mud. There was a real sense of, this is the end at that point. There's a confirmed tornado heading straight towards me. My phone has died. I have nowhere to go.
With his life hanging in the balance and hope fading fast, Gabe's thoughts turn to his wife and their 2 daughters.
This is the end. I love my family. Meredith, you're amazing. I made a goodbye video to my wife and kids. Tegan and Kylie, you're incredible girls. I know you'll grow up to be amazing women. I had seen bits of debris, small leaves and twigs starting to fall from the sky, so I knew, yes, this is real. This is happening. Oh, Jesus. I stayed curled up in the vehicle, just waiting and praying, Jesus, don't let it hit. Please, somehow, make it miss. Here it comes.
as Gabe braces for impact. Jeff is chasing down another tornado, unaware that his partner is in deadly peril.
It wasn't until maybe 2 minutes later I look to my rearview mirror and I don't see Gabe. Gabe, where are you? I was absolutely convinced that he just went to the east and was assuming we could capture footage from both sides of the tornado.
As I'm lying in the ditch, I had the reality of, storm chasers have died before. All right, I'm taking cover. When you're waiting for your death, time slows down. It felt like an eternity. Death was right around the corner.
Against all the odds, the twister narrowly misses Gabe.
I think that's it. Oh my God.
But Jeff is now caught up in the midst of the outbreak.
The moment you start seeing it,
Tornado! Tornado right there!
you're trying to catch your breath. The adrenaline's kicked in. I'm on cloud 9. I think this is it. This was the moment that we were hoping for.
But while Jeff is clearly elated, across town, Gabe reflects on his dangerously close encounter.
Well, this is how I survived almost being in a tornado. And there may be another one just down the road. Oh, shoot.
Gabe's car is pulled out of the ditch by a passerby, and his attention turns to Jeff, who we last saw driving into another tornado.
I need to know that Jeff is alive and that he's okay. Because at that point, I thought he was dead. Forget this. I'm done with storm chasing. I almost died. I think I killed my chase partner. This is not worth it.
Anybody in here?
For Jeff, assessing the aftermath is a sobering wake-up call.
Is anyone here?
I come to this small neighborhood. This thing had just happened, just a few moments earlier. So I'm the first on scene.
Oh no, please. Please don't be in here.
You're trying to take stock of what you're about to see. I was fully convinced I was about to see someone who was not alive.
Is anybody here?
Thought of going and finding someone. It was too much. I don't know if I could have handled that.
I smell gas.
There's propane tanks, very large ones that are busted open. You can hear that high-pitched screaming sound, that there's gas right around you, that if anything sparks, explosion is going to happen.
Anybody hear us?
Jeff later finds out that the homeowners had evacuated before the tornado hit. But others were not so lucky. A total of 7 tornadoes struck East Texas during the outbreak. The highest rated was confirmed as a powerful EF4. Tragically, 4 people lost their lives. Gabe's own close call has made him question the perilous pursuit of professional storm chasing.
Had this tornado had gone over the road where my car was, and there's absolutely no way I'd be sitting here today.
But it reminds you the weather is unbelievably unpredictable.
If I learned anything during the Canton chase, it was to really respect Mother Nature. Is this a career choice that I want to continue?
But the destructive force of nature is no match for these weather junkies' passion for pursuing the ultimate storm.
There's something in me that says, you have to be there. You got to go do this. It wasn't long after that I was back out on the road chasing storms again.
In October 2018, Venice was inundated by its worst flooding in over a decade, as an exceptionally high tide caused 3/4 of the lagoon city to be buried in up to 5 feet of water. In a truly remarkable show of resistance, locals and tourists alike tried to make the very best of the situation. There were swimmers in the world-famous San Marco Piazza, perhaps trying to save on a gondola fare. Astonishingly, the annual Venice Marathon went ahead as planned, making the grueling 26 miles even more challenging. And for this resolute restaurant, it was somehow business as usual, as the waiters donned their wellies to serve pizzas to hungry holidaymakers. However, while the Venetians remained in relatively high spirits, considering the circumstances, elsewhere in Italy, the situation became much more severe. In the northwestern port city of Genoa, most establishments have long since closed for the winter, with one stoic exception. Bagni Maddalena, the only restaurant in the area which opens all year round. With a prime location on the seafront, Verona Giovanna da Monte, it is much more than a place of work.
I work here since I was a kid. So I start in the kitchen, then I work to the bar. Then when my father got older, I start to run the enterprise.
Also working at the restaurant, Giovanna's nephew, Marco.
La mia famiglia ha questo stabilimento balneare praticamente da sempre e io insieme, diciamo, alla mia famiglia da quando sono piccolo ho sempre dato una mano.
However, this idyllic slice of authentic Italian life is about to come under threat as the stormy weather hammering Italy worsens, forcing Giovanna and her team to batten down the hatches.
It was pouring down with rain, cats and dogs really, with a lot of wind.
Il mare si è alzato da un paio di metri fino a quello che poi è diventato la vera e propria mareggiata, con onde fino a 10 metri, dove non vedevi neanche quasi l'orizzonte da quanto erano alte.
Also on hand at the restaurant is Federico.
There was all the clouds, like weird, that we've never seen before. It was really dark. Then the sea started to get bigger and bigger, and the water started to get in the restaurant.
Devastating winds of up to 110 miles per hour are battering the coast, whipping the sea into a violent frenzy. And Giovanna's beloved restaurant is enduring a relentless pounding.
Noi eravamo qua in procinto di asciugare, diciamo, l'acqua che filtrava dalla porta per far sì che l'acqua non si infiltrasse sotto al bar e negli impianti elettrici.
We were not frightened. We never had for a second the idea there could be any danger for us.
But with weather this wild, what seems like a manageable situation can change in an instant.
Suddenly my nephew saw something in the light.
Mi sono girato, ho visto arrivare, diciamo, questo piccolo tsunami.
The mass of water was enormous, was huge. I ran against the window trying to protect as an instinct.
Ci siamo attaccati alla porta per cercare di far sì che non si potesse aprire verso di noi, ma la quantità d'acqua era tale, la forza delle onde erano tali che la porta è stata portata via dal mare.
I found myself falling down, the window against me. It was an incredible pain in my back, and there was all this water and the window on my left shoulder.
Subito io ho girato la testa e ho visto le prime vetrate venire giù contro mia zia, infatti ho davvero temuto il peggio perché io l'ho vista scomparire sotto una vetrata sotto l'acqua e subito dopo si è sfondata la porta che ha travolto me e gli altri miei amici. Io quello che ho visto è stato soltanto acqua nera che ci ha portato via.
as Federico is swept helplessly out into the street.
It was like someone really push and keep pushing harder and harder. It was really powerful.
Marco clings on for dear life.
Io sono riuscito ad aggrapparmi al banco della cassa e non sapevo ovviamente dove erano finiti gli altri 3 ragazzi. La prima cosa che ho cercato è stata mia zia.
When I came out from the water, there was something like 1 meter of water inside the restaurant. Everything was destroyed.
I got inside again and I see the Giovanna like touching her back. And then we get out of the restaurant straight away because if the other waves were coming, I think nothing is gonna stop it.
Giovanna is rushed to hospital where she is treated for a broken vertebra. But heroically, the very next day, she is back at the restaurant with her boys assessing the damage.
The first day after the damage, we start to clean.
And we had like a meter, more or less, of sand in all the restaurant.
I was so demotivated to rebuild, but I thought about the boys. That was their work. So I thought I had to rebuild it for them. It took at least 5 months, and we start again with the new restaurant, where now the boys are running it and not me anymore.
With Marco and his friends now running the show, Giovanna is left to reflect upon her brush with death.
There are 3 different sliding doors, and they fell down, one on my right and the one on my left, and not mine. So I don't think I could be alive anymore if my window would have been the one coming down.
The storm caused devastation all over Italy. An estimated 2,000 people had to be evacuated from their homes, and around 125,000 people were left without electricity. Entire picturesque coastal communities were destroyed.
In all the village was like the sea everywhere. Like you had boats on the street. We've never seen something like this in our life.
People have some power in the world, but nature is the boss. They can cancel what we built in less than one minute.
Still to come, a paramotorist gets a crash course in the power of the wind.
It was almost like hitting a brick wall. I didn't have a whole lot of time to think about anything.
And in Greece, a severe storm springs a nasty surprise.
It felt like the whole world was going sideways because of the intensity. It was unbelievable.
With 27 miles of white sand, Panama City Beach in Florida looks like an idyllic spot for families to soak up the sun. But the beach is prone to dangerous rip currents, which can pull water away from the shore and drag swimmers out to sea. It's July 2017, and visiting the beach with her family is mom of 4, Roberta Ursry.
Coming to you live from PCB.
Panama City Beach is the most beautiful of beaches you will ever see. The sand is crystal white, the water is clear. It's kind of like the Bahamas.
And chilling on the beach. It's a little cloudy. Sun gonna come back out though.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Further along the beach, Jessica and Derek Simmons are picnicking when the weather takes a turn for the worse.
It was nice and sunny, and within seconds, it changed and the clouds had rolled in.
So right now we are in Panama City Beach. It is pouring, raining right now.
The rain was so fierce, it literally felt like little needles hitting you.
It's storming really bad.
And then 10 minutes later, it's gone and we're back to having sunshine.
Well, we survived the storm. Pretty skies, woo! Soaked, but we survived.
That's when the whole premise of the date started to change.
A sudden storm whips up waves and creates a rip current 100 yards offshore. Roberta's 2 young sons are playing in the water and are now in mortal danger.
At that time, I threw my phone down and went in the water after them. Those are my kids, I'm going.
Roberta races in, along with her husband, mother and nephew, but now they're all being dragged out to sea.
When I realized that we were all at the mercy of that ocean, I was petrified. I was crying. I thought I was gonna lose my whole family.
With no lifeguards on duty, Jessica and Derek leap into action, coordinating other beachgoers to form a human chain in a desperate bid to rescue Roberta's family and 3 other swimmers.
There was a rescue that needed to happen. What was in my mind was, holding on to one another, having a grounding rod at shore, and making a pathway to get out to rescue these people.
I was crying, but I didn't want my kids to see that. As their mom out there with them, I honestly thought that I was gonna lose them.
More and more people join the rescue effort, each one risking their lives to reach the swimmers.
We were pretty far out there into the ocean, but we still were not far enough to really reach the family that was drowning.
The current was very strong. I tried swimming, but I am literally stuck. I can't go nowhere. And that was the most horrible feeling in the world, knowing that I couldn't help my kids.
We had to make sure that everybody in that chain really held on to one another. If the very end would have let go, then they would have been swept out as well.
Mother Nature can inspire some incredible acts of bravery and teamwork. Like here in Kazakhstan, a frightened dog has fallen into the rushing waters of a swollen reservoir. A good Samaritan dangerously leaps in to try to rescue the stricken pup. But now they're both stranded at the mercy of the fast-flowing current. Thankfully, passers-by come to the rescue, forming a human chain in order to drag the exhausted man and the dog to safety. In China, roads have collapsed after heavy rainfall, and a terrifying sinkhole has appeared in the street. A driverless car is teetering over the edge of the monster hole and threatening to plunge into the deep abyss at any moment. A crowd of 30 locals used brute force to pull on ropes attached to the car's chassis. And incredibly, they heave the vehicle out of danger. Also in China, a mother and her 3-year-old daughter have fallen beneath the ice of a frozen river. Bystanders form a 65-foot-long human chain on the perilous ice. The courageous team hauls them to safety. And miraculously, no one was seriously injured. Back in Florida, a chain of beachgoers are trying to rescue Roberta and her family. who are trapped in a treacherous rip current.
I remember seeing the guy at the end of the chain, but he was still a good distance from me. I wasn't able to touch bottom. So when I'm out there between the two boys and I'm trying to tread, the undertow is pulling me down. This was the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my entire life.
The human chain is now 80 people long, but it still can't reach the stricken swimmers.
It gets harder and harder to hold on, and the human chain was constantly being pushed. You gotta have complete faith in nothing but strangers that they're not just gonna go, oh, well, we're getting out of here, and then the chain unforms and we're stuck out there as well.
Eventually, Jessica grabs some boogie boards and, risking her own life, swims out to reach Roberta and her family.
All of a sudden, I see Jessica. She tells me, you know, come on, let me help you. I'm gonna help you. We're gonna get you out.
You gotta imagine yourself floating above water, and then you're also fighting these waves that are coming over, and you're trying to help someone else get on a boogie board. It was very exhausting.
Once on the boards, the weary swimmers are passed back down the chain of rescuers one by one.
Relying on the strength of your body to stay afloat, trying to get 9 people back to shore. Very grueling, it was intense.
I done got exhausted, and I passed out because from exhaustion getting up to the shore.
Remarkably, Roberta, her family, and the other swimmers all make it back to the beach alive, thanks to the incredible efforts of their rescuers.
It was pretty emotional. Our family went to rescue another family, and had things turned for the worst, 2 families would have been lost that day. We feel blessed to be alive and that we saved 9 lives that day.
Had it not been for the human chain, we would not have made it. Everybody just came together as one, and it was amazing. They were all angels that day. I have a new outlook on how grateful and precious life can really be, and how quick it can be took from you.
The human chain experience formed an unbreakable bond between the 2 families.
You know, we share something that's pretty unique. I think we'll always be a part of each other's lives, no matter where we live or what we're doing.
When the elements are against you on the ground, shelter is usually never far away. But when Mother Nature throws a spanner in the works mid-air, you're on your own. In Colombia, this man is flying his hang glider above a burning field. But as he circles above the bellowing fire, turbulence hits. As his glider hits a pocket of cold air, it flips forward, sending it plummeting towards the ground. But he battles against the wind, and incredibly manages to ride out the rough air. Turbulence can be terrifying because it can strike at any time and without warning. On this flight from Johannesburg to Cape Town, these petrified passengers are put through a painful ordeal. And at 20,000 feet, there's nowhere to run. As they're constantly battered by turbulence on their approach into Cape Town, they're left seriously shaken, but luckily they land safely, and there were no major injuries. Unfortunately, landing safely isn't always possible. In Florida, in the US, this parachutist is descending towards the landing zone when a heavy headwind wreaks havoc with his approach. And instead of having a smooth landing on the grass, he slams into the edge of a pond, breaking his leg in the process. Friends rush to his aid, and they support the broken limb while an ambulance is called. And somehow, despite the severity of the injury, he's able to see the funny side. But it just goes to show going head-to-head with Mother Nature in the air can leave you vulnerable. One man who knows all too well about turbulence trouble is pilot Andy Bean from South Carolina in the US.
I've been in aviation my whole life, flying single-engine type propeller stuff. I've flown multiple different types of military aircraft, and then also fly the Airbus for a major airline.
And Andy's always up for aviation antics in his spare time too. His latest obsession, paramotoring.
It was instantly appealing to me because there's another aspect of aviation that I hadn't gotten involved in. It seemed to be very freeing. There's no instrument panel in front of you. You know, you can just look down at your feet going over the landscape.
But along with the freedom his newfound hobby offers comes the risk of being exposed to the elements.
The winds, they can be turbulent. It is just a piece of fabric that's over your head, and it is susceptible to bigger wind changes. So paying attention to the wind, I think, is pretty important. Paramotoring worst conditions would probably be very turbulent wind. So if there's wind that's quickly changing directions or gusting, but weather can rapidly change. So it is something that you need to constantly be on top of.
It's June 2019. Andy and fellow paramotorist Ryan head into the hills around Charleston, South Carolina, hoping to have a relaxed flight.
I checked weather at the surface is calm. I checked weather at 1,000 feet. It was calm and the treetops were nice and still. However, that morning, I did not check winds at each 100 feet. I checked at surface and at 1,000, and those appear to be calm. And most of the time, the winds between that are going to be about the same. We were very eager to go fly, and maybe hastily did some of the weather checks. Just, hey, we want to get in the air. And it looked to be good, and the forecast was good, and so we took off that day. I like flying low. Just to be able to kind of get down at treetop level, that's a lot of fun for me, so I enjoy doing that. What I was unaware of is at 300 feet, there is actually winds gusting above 19 knots with about a 50-degree shift in direction. Suddenly, I felt wind hit my body. It was almost like hitting a brick wall, and my wing instantly snapped back behind me. It was very violent. Wings typically don't violently collapse like that, so I wasn't really sure what was going on. The way to get out of turbulence is to leave that area, whether that's altitude or laterally. But at my location and altitude didn't give me a lot of chance to get out of that situation. Once I fell through the lines, it ripped off my helmet camera. That went spinning to the ground. The wing collapsed again. I was under a little bit of G-force spinning around. What was going through my head then was, this is not going to turn out well. This is going to turn out with me, hitting the ground. So then I was trying to judge, where am I going? How can I prepare for this? But to be honest, I didn't have a whole lot of time to think about anything. And the wind starts rushing in your ears, and the whole world's getting blurry because you're spinning around. I only had about a few seconds just to even wrap my head around what's going on before I was flown into the ground.
So, I don't remember much.
I rolled out and laid in the dirt, and I could tell at that point that I had some things that were broken. My neck and back kind of felt like crushed up marbles or rocks, you know, and pain just started at that point coming into my body.
Blood or something behind here. Yeah.
I just felt more and more pain kind of flooding into my body, and it felt like everything was broken. But I could wiggle my fingers and my toes. I was excited about that.
I think I hear an ambulance. Ryan called it.
Emergency services arrive and rush Andy to hospital, where the full extent of his injuries can be assessed.
I had a pretty severe break of my C2 vertebrae, which is in my neck. I also crushed my back, so that was fractured. I ended up having to just do surgery on my neck with a bunch of screws and pins and rods. I'm very fortunate to have survived it in the condition that I did, and I'm going to recover without any long-term side effects. So I'm incredibly lucky.
Despite his terrifying ordeal, Andy is already thinking about taking to the skies once more.
I'm looking forward to flying again with a little more understanding of what the threats are out there, and then being able to mitigate those threats as best I can. I think it's something that I'm going to keep doing for sure.
But Andy has learned never to underestimate the power of the elements.
Weather can change at the drop of a hat, and it's kind of something that if Mother Nature wants to get you, she may get you.
Northern Greece is famed for its spectacular beaches and turquoise blue waters. And the jewel in its crown is the rugged coast of Halkidiki. In July 2019, British tourist Andy Gilchrist visits the region with his wife Katie and their 9-year-old daughter Grace.
We were so excited going, we just needed the holiday, and it was the chance to relax, the chance to swim in the pool. And the weather forecast was brilliant, bright sun and blue skies.
But on the 4th day of their vacation, the family gets wind that all is not well.
We've heard whispers around the pool that there's a storm coming tonight, but we didn't expect it to impact our evening.
But that night, the conditions take everyone by surprise.
So we were having dinner, and it was a really nice atmosphere. Then the lightning started.
The storm suddenly intensifies and powers towards the beachfront.
We could feel a, sort of wind coming in, and the sea was getting really choppy. There was lightning from the north and the east and the west, and then it started to converge.
Watching the ferocious lightning storm with friends is Yasun Kukas.
We saw in the horizon some impressive lightning, but it looked far away.
As the heavens open, the friends rush to shelter in Yasun's car. But the storm is going from strength to strength.
There was great wind. We started seeing leaves and rain being poured on the car. And immediately, like 5 or 10 seconds later, there started to pour hail on the car. It was scary. We were thinking that, okay, this might be really dangerous.
The storm sweeps across town with wind speeds of over 60 miles per hour. Smashing into the restaurant where Andy and his family are enjoying their meal.
The rain was torrential. Crashes and flashes of thunder and lightning, and this intense wind, which was starting now to build into something that I'd never seen before.
As the panicked diners take cover, Yasun and his friends fear for their lives.
My friend's concern was whether we would be struck by lightning on the car. But the real danger was being hit by a tree.
Across town, the diners watch in horror as the storm rips apart the terrace of the restaurant.
This thing hits, which is just like a juggernaut. It starts lifting up panes of glass. It felt like the whole world was going sideways because of the intensity. It was unbelievable. I was standing as close as I could, and my wife was shouting at me to get back, and I wasn't even listening. I had no understanding of the terror that people were in behind me, including my wife and including my 9-year-old daughter, Grace. Would have lifted and thrown one of those incredibly heavy panes of glass across the room. Somebody caught out in that would not have stood a chance.
Outside, Yasun is still cowering in his car, hoping he won't fall victim to the storm's wrath.
The sun was really scary and really loud, and it was overwhelming. In my life, I haven't experienced such a storm.
Incredibly, the storm stops as quickly as it came and leaves everyone shocked and bewildered.
Suddenly, the weather was back to normal. My wife said to me, "Your daughter is terrified," and it started to hit home that people were scared.
The whole center of the storm had passed us. We survived, but I'm not sure it was because of our actions or just luck.
The Halkidiki storm lasted just 20 minutes, but injured over 100 people. And tragically, 7 people lost their lives.
In the morning after, you could see the devastation that had been caused by the storm. There were pieces of trees, huge chunks of trees, all over the resort. It was like a bomb had gone off.
I have never seen a storm create so much destruction, especially in Greece.
It took about 30 seconds to go from a bad storm to this unbelievable event. It was a much, much worse storm than I had ever imagined it could be.
Whether it's holidays, weddings, or parties, Mother Nature has an annoying habit of turning up uninvited. This Californian pool party has been interrupted by an intense hailstorm. As party-goers take cover, hail the size of golf balls batters not just the backyard, but this poor bloke too, who has a painful-looking bruise to show for it. In Thailand, it's not a case of a storm in a teacup, but a storm in a coffee shop. It takes everyone by surprise, including the security guard, who's struggling to stay standing. For the customers, it was definitely not the sort of caffeine hit they were expecting. Guests at this wedding in Argentina have started a spontaneous conga line. But celebrations come to a halt when Mother Nature crashes the party. "90 miles per hour winds blow in the windows. sending everything in the room flying, and terrified guests fleeing. For better or for worse, it's certainly a day this bride and groom will remember. In this episode, we've felt Mother Nature's full fury. We've seen her pummel, punish, and pounce without warning. And next time, there will be more. Because deadly weather stops for no one.